Hey guys, we're joined here with Ky Bennett. How are you doing, Ky?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great. How are you loving it in the snowy Colorado? We're about ready to have here snow here pretty soon.
I am not feeling the snow. The snow is not for me. I tell that to everybody. People are always like, "Why did you move to Colorado? It snows there." I'm like, "Well, it just so
Yeah,
happens."
exactly.
I don't like the snow, but I love Colorado, so I can deal with it.
That's good. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, and why you definitely don't like the snow.
Yeah, so background in terms of martial arts, there's really no crazy background. I didn't really do any wrestling or boxing like strictly before I started MMA.
Mhm.
I've been training since 16 and I started actually in just all of MMA. I found an
Mhm.
MMA gym in Florida when I was living there and I started and I just fell in love with it and I was like this is for me. So since then, it just kind of took off and yeah, everybody always asks me like, "Oh, do you have like a background in wrestling?" I'm like, "No, nope."
So we see most of your career you fought like near Dallas and stuff like that. So did you move from Florida to Dallas?
Yep, yeah. So actually, it's a long story. My family and I we moved all over.
Mhm.
But I originally was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and then we were raised in like the DC, Baltimore area.
Oh, okay.
And then my family and I we moved to Florida when I was about like 13, 14. And that was Tallahassee, so that was like northern Florida. And I started training there, and then at like 18, I moved to Texas. So Texas after Florida, and then Colorado. So yeah.
Perfect. So obviously, that you already said yourself you didn't like the snow, and people were questioning your move, and they come to the snow. Why did you decide to come to Colorado?
Well, so my sister had already lived here,
Nice.
and I just needed to change the scenery. I didn't really have a set team anymore. Like some
Hmm.
things fell through, and I was like, you know what? I need to change the scenery. I heard great things about the fight world in Colorado, and I was like, yeah, I just packed up and just did it. So yeah.
So you're so young at 23 years old. Obviously, Team Elevation is where you're at right now. Where did you find Team Elevation? How did you look it up? Did you know Google? Did you look through the UFC? How,
No,
how do you
no.
look at?
What's funny is so initially when I came out here, I started at Factory X.
Oh,
So
nice.
I wasn't initially with Elevation until
Hmm.
like summer of last year.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I started there and I was there, I want to say, because I got here, I want to say the end of October in 2019. And I like jumped right into training.
Yeah.
And I was only training there for about 3 or 4 months. Then I left. And I actually had a friend, Shauna Dobson.
Oh, yeah.
Her and we trained together in Texas. And I had no idea
Nice.
she was here. And so we kind of found out like we were in the same area. She was like, "Oh, just come over to my gym." I was like, "Okay." So
Nice.
so yeah, just kind of meshed well with them and just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, and she kind of fell into play too because me covering media here in Colorado, we didn't really even know she was here too until she
Yeah,
popped up
kind
and
of
then
just
had Sean
popped
Madden and
up.
people in her corner. Yeah, we're like,
Yeah,
oh, she just
yeah.
popped up. Oh,
It
so
all
that's
turned
super
out
cool.
really well though. It worked out.
Yeah. So how do you like the coaches over there as far as Vinny Lopez, Sean Madden, Peter Straub, Cody Donovan?
It's and I get asked that all the time. A lot of my friends from Tallahassee or Texas, they're like they see that I'm training with Elevation, like, man, like how do you like it? And I just tell them like it's amazing, the environment and like the way the coaches care and just the way it's a really good environment. And
Yeah.
the reason that I initially wanted to be there is because of all the female training partners.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. We get like so many girls from all over the place just coming to train because we have so many bodies. But the coaches are amazing. My head coach is Cody Donovan, and honestly, like we mesh so well. It takes a long time to find that one coach that you're kind of like that you click with, and I found it in Cody. So yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, and Cody's a great guy. Not only that, he's got prior, UFC experience, but he also has the experience on the local scene as well. So he could pretty
Yeah.
much show you how it's going to work in Colorado and stuff like that. Whether or not you go on the local scene or not. So it just all depends. But as a free agent, what are you kind of looking for as far as you trying to look at possibly Bellator? There's a lot of different options. Invicta FC. What are you looking at?
So yeah, there's a lot of options. I think the main thing right now, just with my team and everything, just not wanting to be tied down to, I guess, one specific organization. I'm definitely game for any of the higher level organizations, Invicta, Bellator, maybe LFA. Just kind of seeing what's out there, what the best matchups are, the best offers and stuff like that. So I'm pretty open. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of what comes.
Well, not only that, you're in a great hot spot too, where you got LFA, where they do have some shows here every once in a while. We'll see what happens with COVID because that's pretty much wrecked everything. So I guess it just all depends on
Right.
what ends up popping up in the next couple of months. But that's what the great thing about it is too. Is you got PFL starting back up, you got Bellator coming to Showtime, and then you also got so many other things. And Invicta, Shannon is one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever
Yeah,
meet. So she's always great to deal with in person and stuff too. So it'd
I
be
love
great to
Cyber
see it.
I have teammates that fight for Invicta, and I heard that it's just awesome. And there's so, and on top of it being like strictly women, I feel like
Yeah,
there's a pool of potential opponents, So
yeah.
for me, I would love Invicta for sure.
Well, not only that, you look at some of the other girls that maybe even training partners with them, they have to start out on the local circuit, and
Mhm.
then your experience, you fall right into Bellator in your pro career. How was that?
Man, it was an experience for sure. It was an experience. I think going from like local shows because I was fighting with XKO in the Dallas area.
Hmm.
So going from kind of local shows to the big stage, it was definitely a shocker, but it felt so home. Like I felt at home there. I
Yeah,
was like, "Man, I like this.
yeah.
I want to do this more." So it definitely wasn't as I wasn't as freaked out as I thought I would be. It
Mhm.
definitely felt like this is where I was supposed to be.
Now, what did you really learn from the wins and the losses? Going into Bellator, what's some of the things that you carry on to come into Colorado?
Um, that's a good question. Honestly, the biggest thing for me, because I'm so naturally hard on myself, anybody that I train with, my coach always gets on me. He's like, stop being so hard on yourself.
Hmm.
For me, I think it's just enjoying the experience more.
Yeah,
Win or lose, just enjoying it, knowing that it's just you're gonna bounce back from it no
yeah,
matter what. For me, I think that's the most important thing. And my mindset always is like something that I'm trying to make sure is at 100% every fight. My
yeah,
mindset is the thing that'll like make or break
yeah,
how
yeah,
I perform.
yeah,
But for me, yeah, I think it's just just not being hard on myself, like I said. Yeah, it's always I don't like to use the word defeat. Like
mhm,
I'm never defeated. I just lost that night. So I
yeah,
always tell people I wasn't defeated. I always bounce back. And it's been almost 2 years since I fought, but with good reason. And
yeah.
I'm gonna come back with a bang.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, it's being so young too. That's the great thing about it too, is even if you have a couple losses on your record, it's always a learning process, and then you'll be able to bounce back because you have so many years left. So
exactly. And that's what everybody tells me, like, "You're still so young." I'm like, "You know what? I forget that." Because
yeah, yeah,
you take 2 years, like,
yeah,
a hiatus like that, and you're just kinda like, "Oh, man, I'm missing out on so many things," and you're just
mhm,
like, "Wait, you're fine." Like, you can
yeah,
jump
yeah,
at any time and be okay. So, that's the plan for this year, definitely fighting this year. We're thinking, maybe mid towards end of the year, so
yeah. So tell us a little bit about your new management company you just signed with.
oh yeah, Iron Shins. They are awesome. So yeah, Jason, he reached out to me and I actually was perfect because I was in need of a manager anyway. And it
Nice.
was a sign from the universe because he reached out to me on my birthday. And I was like, yes, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
since then, we kind of just clicked really well. And I was able to be in Vegas and sign with him in person. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I think he's excited to make some really cool matchups happen for me. So
Yeah,
I'm
and it's great too to have Jason out there, even though he's in Vegas and stuff. He always has a great connection out here in Colorado, so that's always a good
and
process to
he's
have
so
too.
accommodating. He gets things done, and I really love. He's just so on top of it.
Yeah,
With the whole age thing, he went and fixed that right away. So I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I love you.
Yeah, I can't believe it's crazy that some people actually had you at 33. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm like, that's way off. Like, I could
I had
see maybe
people
a couple years, but
like you
uh,
were me like, oh, are you 33? I'm like, no, what are you
yeah. I'm like,
doing?
do I look 33 to you? That's what I would have told him.
At this age anymore. So
Yeah, exactly. I guess it just all depends. So
yeah.
you obviously said about Shauna Dobson. Who's some of the other training partners at Team Elevation you work with?
Oh, so many. They're all amazing. So we have Shauna Dobson, we have Mallory Martin. They're both in the UFC.
Yeah, yeah.
We have girls that come like in and out for camps and stuff. We have Montana De La Rosa. She's actually fighting this weekend, so she
Oh,
kind of comes in and out for her camps.
mhm.
She's pretty consistent with us. We have Claire Guthrie. She fought Invicta. With so many. Oh my gosh, I'm missing so many. We have our captain, Brianna Fasori. We have her. Oh, there's so many girls. If I'm
I
missing
bet.
any, I love y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We have so many though, so many.
Well, and Cody talked about having, Kamaru Usman coming into you guys. Just looking at the guy side, do you get to see a lot of the guy fighters train, or is it just pretty much you see them in passing and you're pretty shocked that you just have these superstars coming through your door?
You know what's funny? Actually, yes, we kind of, they're always there. We see them all the time, and it's funny. I have a lot of my old teammates hitting me up like, "I didn't know you trained with so and so," and it's so normal to me now. I'm kind of
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
They're like, "What?"
yeah, yeah. It's
Like, yeah,
nuts.
it's just an everyday thing at this
Yeah.
point. It's cool. The first time I saw, it, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even for a fan's perspective too, you walk
Yeah,
in and you might run into Overeem or Gaethje, or you just never know who you're going to run into. So,
exactly. And I
yeah.
remember the first time I saw both the Gaethje and over, and I was kind of like, "Oh my god! Like, what do I do?"
Yeah, it's crazy too.
Cool, cool. And now it's just kind of normal.
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy too. Just for myself covering Justin for so long, even into his amateur career, it's just crazy to see the journey that he's had, and even Overeem. Seeing Overeem and what the damage he's done over the time too. But from a fan perspective, you're like, holy crap! I can't believe so and so's coming in. You know, and some guys you don't even realize coming in too, because that used to happen over at Grudge and some of the other gyms back in the day, where you just had no idea. And then Todd Duffy's there, George St. Pierre's
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
Carwin's there. So many guys are studs. Yeah.
Yeah. That happened to me at my coach's gym. We were in practice, and there was some guy I'd never seen before. He was running practice, and I was like, my coach was talking to somebody. I was like, "Who is that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's so and so." I said, "Really?" He said, "No, you're not whispering right now."
Ah.
I was like, "What?"
Hey, as
Yeah,
long as he doesn't stare at you, that's all that matters.
yeah, yeah. Just like I'm like, "Oh yeah, what do I do?" Yeah,
Now,
it's
now,
pretty cool.
now, obviously, you have social media and stuff, and we'll put the links on your interview and stuff when we roll it on Saturday afternoon. But tell us some about some of the things that you kind of you fall into play at 23 years old. Social media is such a huge thing with TikTok and stuff, and you see people like Michelle Watterson, Holly Holm, and some of these other women's fighters. They take it to a next level. Do you ever feel pressure with that, or do you just kind of just like to have fun and just have people grow naturally?
Honestly, definitely pressure sometimes. Me, I'm the kind of person where I'm very kind of just lackluster about it. Like I've never really been like, oh, I'm gonna post. Like if you look at my profile, I had to get better with posting because my sister was like, dude, you're not posting anything, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just very kind of detached from that whole thing. Like
Hmm.
I'm on social media and I'm a part of it, but I just never considered myself like super, into it religiously like everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I know I have to get better with that though. Like I really do. And sometimes I feel the pressure because I see like people really like promoting themselves and
Mhm.
putting themselves out there. And I'm like, man, I have to just step out of my comfort zone and, just make it happen. So I'm definitely gonna get better with that. So yeah, definitely pressure. Yeah.
Well, not only that, you're so, like you said, you're so young that, it's just a more of a thing where your focus is on training, your focus is on getting bigger fights, stuff like that. It's really not, that's for later. You'll figure it
Yeah.
out eventually. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
I
not that
also
big of a
think that's
deal.
part of the growth as a fighter too, is just kind of knowing where to put your attention. Like these things do matter at the end of the day. Like before, I was like, I just want to fight. I don't want to handle anything else. But being a fighter is also a business. We have to know how to navigate these things and actually be good at these things.
Hmm.
So I had to get out of that mindset of, oh, I just want to fight. I don't want to handle any of this stuff and blah blah blah. So I'm getting better. I'm getting
Yeah.
better with yeah.
Now, obviously, you might have some sponsors or stuff that, people to thank along the ways. Who's some of the people that you'd like to thank, especially in this interview of people who've seen it?
Oh, 100%. The Dice team, they're my new sponsor. Just want to thank them so much. I've had some sponsors along the way. Um, so yeah, definitely Jason, my management team. But as of right now, the Dice team is my main sponsor.
Hmm.
Any other sponsorships coming up in the future, I'll definitely make sure to shout them out. But nothing's set in stone.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, for sure the Dice team. Yes.
And if some sponsors or advertisers are looking at the video and they want to see, they'll see your links right in the corner. So we'll get you some money either way. So
Guys.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll
obviously, And obviously you come into Colorado at a weird time right before COVID and everything like that. Is there anything kind of cool that you've got to enjoy since you've been here in Colorado?
Man, I am so lame. Everybody asks me all the time, "Have you gone skiing? Have you gone snowboarding?" I
Mm,
have not.
yeah.
And so when I first got here, I told you I jumped right into training, and that was like my main focus, you know. So I that was just my life. I didn't do anything else. I was training, and I didn't really allow myself the time to get out and enjoy and like have a life and stuff like that. I'm getting better with that also, but no,
Mhm.
I haven't really been to any of the cool places. So once the weather dies down a little bit, you know, once the snow goes away, I'm gonna try to get out a little bit. But yeah,
So you're not too far from Casa Bonita, so you have to check that out. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to have to check it out.
I was like, I don't even know what that is. I do want to go to. I've heard like Garden of the Gods
Oh
and
yeah, down in the springs.
the
Yep.
incline, the stairs or whatever. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
do the.
yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
heard that'll kill me, so I don't know.
Oh no, no, you'll be fine. So if he could train here, you could do the climb for sure. So
Oh, man, we'll see.
yeah, you just have to get acquainted with the altitude. But you've been here long enough, you should be good. So
I think I'm good. It took me honestly, it took me almost a year to not feel like I was dying and
yeah,
training. After that, I was like, okay, I feel, and it's crazy. I took a trip back to Texas, and I was like, I can really feel the difference. Like everybody would tell me,
yeah.
like, "You can feel it," and I'm like, no, there's no way. But yeah, I went back to Texas, and I was like, yeah, I can definitely feel the benefits.
Yeah. And even talking to Burt Watson last week in our interview, we basically were talking about how a lot of these fighters would come to elevation and you'd see people like Jake Shields out there. And I'm doing interviews and you're seeing another UFC fighter that's been there for a couple weeks that they're literally getting ready, to get acclimated to the altitude. It's just so crazy to see.
I'm excited, you know, to kind of fight, have my first fight in Colorado. It's going to
Mhm.
be insane to kind of feel the difference and, you know, cardio and all that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's great. Well, we appreciate your time. Best of luck. You have a young, great future ahead of you. And it's just, the sky's the limit. All you have to do is pretty much just get signed to a new promotion and you just never know. So we wish
Man,
you the best of luck.
thank you so much. Big news is going to be coming soon, hopefully. So
I
stay
love
tuned,
it.
guys.
Thanks. Have a great night. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.